Hey, welcome to week 7. Good to see you, James. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well, but not as well as my 6-0 friend over here. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Could probably complain and then have everyone absolutely loathe me and hate me, but I'm going to decide not to do that and just enjoy this ride I've been on. Truly can't believe that 6-0 is a thing for me. Never thought I'd be the bride because I've always been the bridesmaid. So,
Yeah, right.
man, seeing Rhett lose last night absolutely killed me. It crushed me. It crushed Chelsea. Chelsea was rooting for Rhett. I was rooting for Rhett. We both wanted to not only see him win, but also watch you stay atop the division at 4-2. But Mass squeaks in there with a .1 victory, no scoring adjustments whatsoever. And that brings us to the question: which would you rather have, a loss by blowout or a loss by .1?
Yeah, I thought about this and I can speak to this now. As it turns out, I was just recently blown out, and I will say that it is much easier to be blown out because you know pretty early on in the day that it's over for you. You can go ahead and eat dinner, watch football, enjoy a game, but to be where Rhett was, just seeing his team losing by 0.10 and then his team getting the ball back only to find out that all his starters were benched is a heartbreak. Really, he just needed a pass completion, and he would have came out on top. So that is a huge bummer.
Yeah, I can't believe they pulled the starters. So on the other side though, like having a blowout win and basically Monday's game not affecting me. Like halfway through the game, I went on a walk with my kids. Like it was great. I'm sure they loved it because they're. I was like, man, I'm not sweating anything out here. Like, might as well just go and enjoy this time with my family. So, let's get into Milkos versus Matt, the battle of my brothers. The two teams that will not trade with anyone, and I think as a result are suffering the consequences of their choices by missing out on some victories. They both have great players. I think if they are willing to send out some trades, they could both buy wins for this week. Milko's team continues to underperform. I don't get it. On paper, I like his team a lot. I don't understand how he can't get a win, it seems like, to save his life. Matt, on the other side, though, Zeke is going to be the focal point of that offense. So that's a great boost for his team. They both need a tight end. As I recall, I think you have Jonnu Smith, right?
Yeah, Junu, Johnny, I've heard it both ways. So if you all want to send me some trade requests or trade proposals, feel free. I'm not interested in acres. I'll throw it out there already. But anyone else, go ahead and throw it
All
to
right,
me.
legitimately though, who would you want to get for Jonnu Smith? I mean, the guy's been a stud tight end, and he has an injury right now. But who's somebody that you want for Jonnu Smith from either Milkos's team or Matt's team?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably have to throw in another running back myself just to try to give him something for it. But I don't know. Looking at Milko's team, I like Todd Gurley, obviously, even though I don't like Atlanta at all. I wouldn't mind having him, or I'll take Frank Gore back, even. Not just kidding. I dropped him for a reason. Of course, he scored more points last week than he did for me this whole time.
So yeah, I think Todd Gurley for Jonnu Smith is a great trade. Let's make that happen. I like what Gurley's been doing. He's been getting into the end zone, and obviously, I don't think he's in threat of losing his job. What about Matt's team? Anybody you would want from Matt's team?
Just taking a quick look at it. I don't know. Obviously, Chris Carson is awesome. I don't think he's gonna be trading him, but I would love to have him. I mean, I would even. Who else has he got? I guess that's really the only person that I would love to have from him. I don't think he's got much options to give up any other running backs because Frank Gore's looks like
All
he's
right, so
back.
maybe you send over Jonnu Smith, Mark Ingram, get Chris Carson in return. Sounds like a deal that both of you benefit from.
I think so. I mean, I feel like I'd have to be sacrificing a little bit there, but I would do that for you.
All right. So I'm going to give this one to Milkos. I really like Milkos's, again, team this week, and he's due for a win. I think he's not going to have a problem with Devontae Adams. Obviously, last week was a weird game for Aaron Rodgers, but he was trying to target him, which is why he threw 2 interceptions. But yeah, I really like Milkos' team still, but I don't think it's a blowout win. I think this is a very narrow victory. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Milkos is going to pull it off. I think he's going to pull off a Russell Wilson at the last minute and come out on top.
All right, so we'll see what happens this weekend. All right, now we get into Carrie versus Rhett. So Carrie's team is hurting. She's lost Raheem Mostert. She's lost Miles Sanders, both to injury. And her other running back, Jonathan Taylor, is on a bye week. So, Carrie, make a high bid for Boston Scott. Buy yourself a running back rental, at least for 1 week, and someone who could potentially be an insurance policy for Miles Sanders. Rhett, don't put your eggs in one basket. I couldn't believe when I looked at your team that I saw you were starting everybody from the Cowboys. I almost did that against James with a quarterback, running back, and kicker. I was even going to try to make a trade for AJ Brown, but I decided, man, I can't bank on one team because that could go south real quickly. You missed out on the Matt Ryan Julio Jones stack. I think that was smart. No one foresaw Julio getting 2 touchdowns in one game, especially coming off of hamstring injury. But looking at the matchups, I have to give the win to Rhett. I'm curious, James, what are your thoughts on Josh Jacobs? Do you like him? Do you not like him? Would you trade for him?
I don't really have well, actually, you know what? Josh Jacobs, I felt like he was such a big contributor last year, and he's obviously had some pretty good games this year with 33 coming out the first game, and this past game he had 21, but in the middle there he's 12, 6, and 8. You know, I think he's got some potential to really kill it. I'm trying to look at his matchups over the next few weeks.
So Josh Jacobs was someone I was targeting in the draft. I really liked him in the draft. And after week 1, I was feeling like Rhett, like, man, I got a solid running back. But yeah, things have been a little questionable. So what were you going to say, looking at the schedule ahead?
No, I mean, just look at the schedule ahead. I think he's got some good matchups. I mean, he's always projected to do pretty well. So I like him. I would hang on to him if I could, or I would trade for him. If you need anyone, send him my way.
Yeah, I like Josh Jacobs a lot. I think he'll be the difference maker this week. I know he's going up against a tough Tampa Bay defense, but I think because of Carey's injuries, and even plugging in Boston Scott, while he's a great pass catcher, doesn't mean that he's going to do what Josh Jacobs does. There's a reason that he's a top end running back in our league. So yeah, I got to give the win to Rhett, and especially if he decides to go with the Julio Matt Ryan stack. I think against a porous Detroit defense, that's going to be a game that scores a lot of points. So I'm giving it to Rhett. What about you?
Yeah, I think I'm going to give it to Rhett also. Carey's got a lot of injuries, like you said. I wish this could have happened 2 weeks ago when I played her. But Rhett, I think you got yourself a good matchup, and it's going to end up turning out well for you.
All right, so next we move on to Zach versus Alex. This is the roommate battle. So we had Chad and Eric last week. Now we have Zach and Alex this week. I hope this is a closer matchup than what happened with Chad and Eric. Both these teams are having resurrection seasons. Their players are getting back to health. And I know Alex is hoping to finally use his brand new shiny toy in Michael Thomas, especially after that weird week 1 injury or week 2 injury, whenever it happened. Zach's team, though, seems to be getting healthy also and staying really consistent. I said it at the beginning of the season. I'll say it again. I still really like his team. Alex gets the benefit, though, of Le'Veon Bell moving over to the Chiefs. And so now we have 2 Chiefs running backs who could potentially be facing each other this week. All right, so right now, look me in the eye. Who you taking, Le'Veon Bell or Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Oh, man. That's a tough one. I feel like I haven't seen Bell play in over a year, right? So I don't know. I like this rookie Edwards Solaire. He's been a stud. It seems like since he came out to Kansas City, he's been playing well. I mean, he's pretty consistent, and he's not ever given duds so far. So I think he's doing pretty well. Pretty well. I don't know about Le'Veon Bell right now. Just for the sake of choosing one, I'd choose Clyde.
See, I'm going with Bell. I think he has that chip on his shoulder, and he's ready to show everybody that he's worth the money. So especially against Denver, you could run on Denver. So they could both have a really good game. It kind of caps the ceiling for both of them. But I think that Bell outscores Clyde Edwards-Helaire this week. If he plays.
If he plays. Yeah, if he plays.
What do you but you're going with Clyde?
I'll go with Clyde. Yeah.
All right. Hey, let's make a water bet. Loser pours water on their head and films it for the league. How about that?
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Ice water or warm water?
At least 2 cubes.
So. Okay. All right.
All right. I'm giving this one to Zach. I think if Zach can set the right lineup, he could have the score of the week this week. And he'll move up to tying the division against Alex. That being said, Alex gets a boost this week with Jerick McKinnon potentially being the starter of your precious Niners who love to run the ball. But I think if Zach can get lucky, he'll have the score of the week. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I actually do agree. I think Zach will win this. But yeah, it's going to depend on what type of lineup he sets. I think he's got another good outing from Josh Allen. I know he didn't have a very good one last night, but I think the last 2 weeks actually he hasn't been doing too well. But I think going against the New York Jets, who have been kind of stinkers, he'll get some good points out of him there. And then just the rest of his team looks like they're going to be pretty solid this week.
Yeah, I agree. Here's the question though: Do you start Josh Allen or Justin Herbert? Josh Allen going against the New York Jets, a very juicy matchup. They could obviously win that by the first quarter and then pull all their starters. Right. Or do you start Justin Herbert going up against Gardner Minshew? Man, I don't know why I can't say his name. It must be the Mexican accent. Gardner Minshew this week.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize they are playing this week. Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one. Justin Herbert has been doing very well. Jacksonville, not so hot. You're right. I think it could be a juicy matchup for both of them. I still go with Josh Allen.
All right. I'm excited to see what Gronk does for Alex's team too. So, all right, we both give this one to Zach. All right, Chad versus JP. So Chad has Kyler Murray going up against Russell Wilson. That's going to be a crazy matchup. Both teams give up points. Both quarterbacks know how to move the ball downfield. I think Murray has the highest probability to be the quarterback of the week this week. I think Gibson comes alive this week against the Cowboys, just like Drake did last night with a 69-yard touchdown to seal my victory. I think I need a wide receiver. I don't want Cooper Kupp. So Eric, stop sending me that trade. But I need a wide receiver from somebody. I like my running back depth though, and that's who people want from me. So I don't know, man. What's your advice?
I mean, do you need a wide receiver though? Do you really? Like, are your guys that bad? I feel like you've had some pretty solid starts from your wide receivers. Like looking at I'm really upset with you. Looking at your lineup, dude, you're the only one projected to be at 120. Most people are always projected at like a little over 100, maybe 110, 115. I've never seen anyone projected at 120. I mean, don't trade this guy anything. JP doesn't need any more help or any reason to win. He needs to lose. I would totally be rooting for you, Chad, but I do believe this week it will go to JP, even if you get your lineup in order. I can't root against you.
See, I find that funny because I think Chad's going to win this week, and I'm not trying to reverse jinx myself at all.
I have my notes here. Reverse jinxing yourself, huh?
I don't feel good about my matchup this week. And here's the thing though. Chelsea also doesn't feel good about my matchup this week. And she thinks every week that I've played, she thought I was going to lose. And so she said, again, I don't think you're going to beat Chad. And so it's not until she's like, oh, you got this in the bag that I'll start worrying. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think again, he has good players. He has the opportunity to set a big lineup. If he decides to swing for the fences, man, I can't keep up. Like his players have a lot of boom potential. So I'm giving this one to Chad. Excited to see how this one goes, though. So I'll definitely be sweating this one out this weekend. All right, Mast versus Drew. So Mast has a tough week ahead of him. I don't know that his players make any of their projections. He's missing his quarterback. There's several other players that he's missing. I'm going to go ahead and pull him up here. Yeah, and currently he's still projected to lose. So he loses Lamar Jackson. He loses his kicker, who's been stout. I mean, Hot Rod, Rodrigo Blankenship putting up a solid, I think, double-digit points in almost every single game. He doesn't have Madison. He doesn't have Cook. So yeah, I have to give this victory over to Drew, who is number 2 in the division. Man, back from the dead, Drew. All his players are playing like they're supposed to. He has a ton of great depth on his team. The Cardinals defense, I thought they were the 86 Bears. Like, what in the world? And had it not been for that last effort touchdown by Kenyon Drake, he would have had the score of the week. So I really like Drew's team. Having Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback is always a huge difference maker. Obviously, like, even looking at his wide receivers, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson having a bye, doesn't matter. He has great depth on his team. So he's going to have to pick up maybe a solid defense, maybe the Eagles or somebody else, spend some fab, which I don't think he's spent any fab so far, and get his players ready to go. But I think that Drew has a cakewalk. What about you?
Yeah, just looking at the matchup, looking at Mass team where he's got almost nobody. He looks like he's gonna be in trouble. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just simply go with Drew, and I am rooting for you, Drew, because if I lose again this week, I still want to be on top. So keep it going.
That's right. So let me ask you this. What are your thoughts on Ronald Jones? So he was kind of a sleeper, and then the Fournette signing happened. Now he has Fournette and Ronald Jones on his team. I don't particularly love Ronald Jones, but it's also because I don't love Bruce Arians. And I don't think that there's really a week in, week out running back on the Buccaneers. But obviously, Ronald Jones has been going crazy, putting up 100-yard games back-to-back weeks. Like, what would you trade? Would you want him on your team?
Hey, I would. Asking me, I don't have very much depth in my running back group, so I would love Ronald Jones. He's like you said, he's been having a killer 2 weeks and been pretty consistent for the most part as far as points go, from what I can tell. Definitely better than the running backs that I have right now, other than Connor. So yeah, he looks like a solid running back to me.
All right, so send over trade, make that happen, Drew. All right, last matchup of the week. We have my best friend and buddy, James Eubank, going up against one of my other best friends, Eric Salambini, the Italian stallion, the man who has had a rough go at fantasy. I think, and I'm going to look this up right now, I think he has the most points against in the league. He has had a very hard schedule. Yeah, 747 points against. That is the most in our league. He's had a very tough schedule. And do you make it tougher on him this week?
Looking at his lineup and looking at mine, I do think that I've got a pretty good shot at taking this one. Yeah, that's all I can really say. I think I've got this one. I'm hoping I got this one. Obviously, I'm projecting now to kill him, but he hasn't set his lineup yet, and I still have to set my lineup all the way as well. But I think after last week with Aaron Rodgers, I think he's probably embarrassed. I called it a little bit with Kittle having a bad week the week prior. He came back and did well. Claypool had a good game for me last week. And I think Rodgers will come through as well for me. I don't know what his quarterback situation is. Okay, so he's got no quarterback this week. He's gonna have to.
Yeah, he spent $10 on Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Ryan Fitzpatrick is getting benched for Tua. Don't know why, but
yeah, I don't really either. I saw that. So, I mean, it's a bye week anyway, so he doesn't have anyone there, and Prescott is injured. So, uh, he's gonna have to do some roster moves and do some trades or try to pick up some players. And there's not a whole lot of great talent out there. I mean, anyone could blow up, as you know. So, um, I don't have any advice for you because I want to win. So
yeah. So with Zach Ertz being out, I think Zach Ertz, and he's been terrible. He's a safe drop. He can spend up some money, pick up another tight end, maybe trade for like TJ Hawkinson or somebody. I know he's been trying to get rid of Cooper Kupp. Maybe someone who needs a wide receiver outside of me will trade for Cooper Kupp. But yeah, I think it's safe to drop Zach Ertz. I think it's safe to drop Dak Prescott. Even if Zach Ertz comes back this week, I think he's a useless player. Let him be a landmine on somebody else's team. If Zach Ertz was out there and healthy, would you pick him up?
no.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I think he does more hurt than harm.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, his little Ravens defense is sitting out. So again, he's going to have to make some moves. Even if he makes the moves, I'm giving this one to James this week. Again, just kind of going based off of what the pattern is. After you suffer defeat to me, you do well the next week against your opponent. So yeah, I think you have a good week, James. And I think Aaron Rodgers should be more embarrassed about this like touchdown celebration dance that he did as opposed to like his interceptions. I don't even know what that was about. That was the weirdest thing. Old white guys do a lot of weird things. So can't wait to see your touchdown celebration, Matt. And yeah, all right. So that's our show today. Any final remarks? Anything you want to close out with?
Nothing for me. Just good luck, everyone, as usual, and hopefully your fantasy goes your way.
All right. So Chad, good luck this week. So I'm rooting for you, buddy.
Me too, man.
All right. Bye.